Hello and welcome to week 3, getting started with writing in our English 102 course. If you think back on week 1 and 2, we looked at a lot about grammar and exploring grammar, and you had some quizzes over that. So now we're moving to the next part of writing, which is putting it together to create an essay, to create a written piece. Okay, so this week's lecture is really important in that because it's going to look at some of those components for an essay. So you can write that later in this course and then when you move on to other courses in your college career. So I have it pulled up here. So of course, each week you want to start with the lecture because that's going to be the information that you need to do your best on all the assignments. So week 3, it starts off with paragraph structure. So each of these two things, paragraph structure and also the thesis statement, you're going to be using both of those in our discussion board this week. Last week you wrote about what was missing with the emails, the grammar and the tone and the punctuation. So this week, after you watch a video that talks about study habits, you are going to create two things. You're going to create a thesis statement, which comes in the second lesson here in our weekly lesson, and then also a paragraph about that. So be sure that you look through this week's lesson because it's going to talk to you about what you need for each of these items that you're going to use in your discussion board. Your paragraph, which this should stand out to you right here, is between 5 and 10 sentences. It depends on, what the subject matter is and, what all needs to be included in there. So make sure you go through this of the different parts of a paragraph and then also a thesis statement because you're going to be writing that for your discussion, your initial discussion board post for week 3. Okay, so I want you to spend some time in that. And of course, there is some other things that you're going to want to look at in the lecture. And this essay structure is then putting what it'll look like, kind of an overview, what it will look like when you put together your thesis statement with the different paragraphs that you're going to be creating for the essay. All right, so let's go back through the assignments for this week. For week 3, you have the discussion, which I just talked about. After you've watched this video, you're going to write a thesis statement that you believe best reflects what the video is about. And then you're going to write a short paragraph describing some of the strategies that you believe that will help you develop better study habits. So then when you go back in and read what your classmates and your peers have written, you can talk about what the strategies that they have discussed and what maybe you could recommend to them or they may recommend to you. So you guys are doing a fantastic job in the discussion board. I love the back and forth with each other and really honing in on what each of the posts are about and staying on topic. So I have no doubt that we'll continue to do that. So that's great. I really, really appreciate the effort in that. And we have everybody, participating each week. So very good. So we have another quiz this week. Should be very similar format to what you've experienced in the past 2 weeks rather. So make sure that you have thoroughly gone through that week 3 lecture because that's where the information's coming from. And also, this is kind of an exciting time. You think about week 3. This course is only 7.5 weeks long. So by the end of week 3, we're pretty much close to being halfway done. So that's really a big milestone for our class. So, and it's great. However, I want you to keep the same momentum throughout the next 4.5 weeks. Because remember that little half week, it's just really just a few days. So it's going to go by very quick. And this year in particular, this term, it kind of falls right smack in the middle of the holidays. But you guys are going to keep motivated and keep your schedule and keep talking to each other in discussion board to keep taking your quizzes and turning things in on time. So it's going to be great. It may be stressful at times. So use this opportunity to check in if there's something that you need more help with on the course, if there's something you're not understanding. This would be a good place to put that in there. any feedback that you're having, what's going well for you too. I love to hear those types of check-ins too. What's going well for you? Is there something that you have a question on or need some more support with? So if you have not done so already, I want to point out something to you, and this is in pretty much all of your classes at Bryant and Stratton, and it's super helpful. So if you go back to the welcome button, there is a tracking calendar, and I already have it pulled up, so we have to go through the awkward part of downloading and doing all of that. So this goes by week. Some students like to have this as a checklist of what you're going to be doing each week. Okay, so here we are in week 3. So then you know what's coming up, so you can kind of help set aside your schedule each week, especially when they're following along in the holidays. So you'll want to work ahead, so you make sure that you're keeping on track with your classes, so you feel good about yourself for that, but then you're also allowing enough time to enjoy the holidays with family and friends. So that's important as well. So this kind of gives you an idea of where we're heading for the final weeks. And also, one last thing, if you haven't noticed it, on the weekly announcements that I put up on this announcement page, I have this little nugget right here that it tells you all the dates and stuff. So that kind of keeps you on track. And of course, we're right here, week 3, started today, the 15th, and it'll end then on Saturday. So that helps you keep. So look at this date right here, the 21st. It's our very last day. So you want to keep that in mind, because that'll be the last day to turn in assignments. So, all right. I am looking forward to reading all of your work this week and to getting into the discussion boards with you. You guys are doing really great with that. So I will see you in class.